Hey everybody, it's Mr. Montgomery, and here with you for a little science video. And we've been talking about living and non-living things. So we know what living things need and what makes living things living. So let's go into one kind of living thing that we're going to learn about, and that's plants. So plants are, of course, living things. They grow, they change, they need food and water. But what are the parts of a plant? Why don't we start with the stuff that we can see all the time when we just walk by a plant? So, if you look at these flowers, right here, these red leafy things are the petals. So these are flower petals. You might have already known that. And these, of course, always look different. Sometimes they're red or pink like these are. Sometimes they're yellow or white or purple. Depending on the plant, they always are different colors. And if we look down here, this little guy is called a bud. Now, I'm not talking about like the name uh, that someone might have, Bud, or your friend who is your bud, but this is a flower bud or a plant bud. So a bud is a part of a plant that is either starting to bloom or has not bloomed yet. So you can even see them on trees when it's springtime and you're driving down the road and you see those tiny little like tops of the trees, how they're not full leaves yet, but they're just starting to grow a little bit. Those are buds also. And the last part that we're going to learn about is this thing. I'm sure you already know what the name of this is. It's a leaf. We see leaves all the time on flowers and plants, and of course in those trees, those are going to be some big green leaves. And the cool thing about leaves is that, well, you'll learn more about this in high school, but I'll tell you a little bit now. So leaves actually help take in carbon monoxide. That's the air that we breathe out. So these leaves have these tiny, tiny holes that soak in all the carbon monoxide, and they help the plant make food, and the plant then releases more oxygen for us to breathe. So plants actually help us breathe and give us fresh air. But now that we know these three parts of the plants, we have our petals, we have the buds, and we have leaves. So we're going to do a little worksheet with these three terms that we just learned, and you're going to have a little project slash assignment to work on. So how about we go check that out? Okay, so here's a little nifty worksheet that I found I thought we could complete together. So we're going to do this as a team. And I'm going to tell you one cool thing about this certain flower that is on this paper, because I didn't go over it outside, and this is very unique from other flowers. So most flowers have pollen in the center, and that pollen can help make other flowers. But with this flower, this is a sunflower. And in the middle, it actually has seeds. So you see all these tiny holes, these like dark areas, these spots? Those are holes that hold the seeds. And we actually have these at the school, right outside the side entrance where we also go out for fire drills. So right outside that door, you might have noticed these two really tall flowers that were yellow, but during the winter they kind of died off a little bit because they weren't getting enough sunlight and they turned brown. But when they bloom again, they'll be nice orangey yellow, and you can see the holes in the very center that keep all the seeds. And then they drop them to hopefully grow even more sunflowers. So this one, I'm just going to tell you guys what it is. So this area would be the seeds. So I'm going to fill in seeds right there. Okay, but the rest of it we already know because we just learned it. So next we got to do these orange and yellow things coming off the flower. What would we call these? And then we're going to write our answer on this line right here. What would we call it? Would we say it is the flower, the stem, the roots? Oh, we did seeds. Would it be the leaves, the bud, or the petal? What would these orange and yellow things be called? Really quick, pick one of the words from the list. You can just point to it with your finger. Okay, well, according to what we talked about earlier, these orange and yellow things that come out the side. Now, it's different on every flower, but on this flower, they're orange and yellow, and this is the petal. So remember, this can change on any flower. Some flowers have red petals, other flowers have yellow petals or white petals. They change from plant to plant. Let's do this next one down here. So this next one down here, this little green thing with the yellow thing starting to grow, what would we call that? Would we call this a flower, a stem, a root, leaves, a bud, or a petal? What would we call that? Actually, we just used petal, so we can't use that one again. Gotta pick one of those words. What do you think this little tiny flower looking thing would be called? What should we label it? It would be called the bud. This word right here. So we can go ahead and write that down. So this little flowery thing is the bud. Now we can cross that off our list. What about right here? This green thing. Now this is the last one we're going to do for today. What would this green thing be called? Would it be called a flower, a stem, a root, or a leaf? Go ahead and real quick pick one of those words. Do you think it's a flower, a stem, root, or a leaf? So this part. Wait, did you pick a word yet? Did you pick one? Hope so. So this green thing right here, this is a leaf. Now they give us the plural version up here. We're just going to write the singular one because they're just pointing to one leaf. There we go, leaf. So these are the three parts of the flower that we learned. We learned about the petal, the bud, and the leaf. But now it's time for your assignment, which is going to be kind of like a fun art project. Just wait and see. It's going to be fun. Let's go over your science assignment for today. This is going to be a fun drawing assignment. So what we're going to do is draw your very own flower. And you have to label those parts that we just talked about. And maybe you're thinking, but Mr. Montgomery, I don't know how to draw a flower. That sounds really tough. Don't worry. It doesn't have to be perfect. Look, I'm going to show you how I'm going to draw a flower right here. Doesn't have to be anything special. So first I picked some brown, right? And I'm just going to draw a brown circle. And you can just kind of shade it in if you want. See, my flower is not perfect, but that's all right. Okay, now I have my center of the flower. And next, I have to draw the colorful part, the petals. Maybe I want them to be blue. I can do blue petals, sure. And look, well, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to start from the brown circle. I'm just going to come out, loop around, and back down. And then come out, loop around, and back down. See, nothing crazy. And you can make some of them look crazier if you want. They don't have to be the same. And I just noticed that my petals are kind of looking like light bulbs. It's kind of silly. Okay. And there's my flower. You can go ahead and color in these petals if you want. Have fun with it. You can just make sure you keep them the same color that you drew them in. And then we have to draw what connects everything. So I'm going to get some green, because they all stand up on these green things, right? But we're going to talk about these green things a different time. I'll talk about them next time. And I can keep that green and draw the leaf. And the cool thing about these leaves that I was telling you earlier, how they have these really tiny circles in there, the little holes that take all this carbon monoxide and help gives oxygen. We're actually going to look at all that underneath a microscope in a couple weeks. I'm really excited about it. There you go. You just draw a couple leaves here. And oh, we almost forgot something special, because there's one other part we learned about. So right here, I'm just going to draw. It looks like I'm going to start drawing the leaf, but it's just going to be like a green circle. And you can leave it like that, because that's going to be your bud. But if you want to add some color to it, make it the same color as your petals. Watch this. It now looks like a flower that's starting to bloom a little bit, so it looks like a little bud. That's all we're doing, guys. So draw that, and then after you're done drawing it, we're going to make little labels. I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. So all you do is, for the petal, watch, I'm going to draw a little arrow with a line. And it's okay if your line is crooked. It's allowed to be. And if an arrow is a little too hard, you can just do a straight line. Watch. You don't have to do the arrow. Just do a straight line to it so you know what it's supposed to be for. And then you just write the word on the line. And same thing for this. Draw a line from there and a line going across so you can write the word. So that's why we're drawing this line going across, so we can write down the word that we're going to be writing. The word that tells us what this is, this green thing. What is this blue thing? And what is this little guy right here? What is that thing? So I thought this would be a fun, different assignment for you guys. So all you have to do is draw me a flower or any kind of a plant, and make sure you list the 3 parts that we learned about today. So we have, oh, and let me write down the parts for you so we don't forget about them. So there is a bud. That's how you spell it. We have a petal. And we also have a leaf. And those are the 3 words you need to sort out for today. All right, so as soon as you finish it up, make sure mom and dad send a picture of it to your teacher. And I'll see you guys next time we talk about science. Have a good day.